Hello everyone, in this video we're going to have a look at Baikou step, which is the fundamental step for the art of Baikou, the art of changes. So let's have a look how the step is meant to be practiced first, and then we'll break it down into details, and then have a look how it gets applied, how it works, and some philosophical backgrounds behind it. Alright, so first let's have a look at legs and then at how the arms are working. So one of the most complicated things with the Baikou step is to actually make a step, because usually Baikou is understood as just doing like this with your legs, which is not correct. So Baikou is step, and to make it act like a step, we use hands, but a bit later. But first let's have a look at these two most essential parts of the step. So the angle between the legs when I do the step should be exactly 45 degrees, like this. So I step 45 degrees like so, and there is a slight distance between the toe and the heel. It's around the distance of my foot. So like taking the foot this distance. So this is how I make the step. And then cool, again, 45 degrees, and quite an important thing. When I'm doing ko, this toe gets into this toe. It cannot be done like this, okay? It can be done like this when you want to change the direction, okay? But when you just make a step, it should be like not going beyond the limit of this toe. So if we draw the line here, then I just step into the line like this, and then again I make by and I make ko. I make by, and if I want to turn, then I do this T like step, and then again I do by, and then I do ko. By, ko. By, ko. By, ko. The principle of the empty step remains the same. So empty step, and then ko, and then empty step, and empty step here as well. By, ko. By, ko. By, ko. So when I do by, I expand. When I do ko, I contract. Expand. Contract. Expand. Contract. This is not a linear kind of step. It's not like this. It's not this kind of thing. It's like I expand, and then I contract, and then again I expand, and then again I contract. Expand, contract. Expand, contract. Expand, contract. Expand and contract. Expand and contract. Expand, contract. Expand, contract. And now to make it a step, we use our hands to help ourselves. So the basic form is this is known as yin yang palm in Baikou. So it goes like this. Goes like this. So this derives essentially from the single palm change. Single palm change goes like this. The final part of the single palm change goes like this. So this kind of motion. And the idea is that we use our hands to help the rotation, and also to make it a step. Because if I just put the leg and do something to my leg, this is not a step. I just stand and just turn in my leg somehow. This is not the case. So Baikou is a step, which is important. So I step and I stop. I step and I stop. Step, stop. Step, stop. Step, stop. Step, stop. Step and stop. Step and stop. By stepping, I'm contracting. By stopping, by stepping, I'm expanding. By stopping, I'm contracting. So here, I expand till the size of the universe very widely. And here I contract into a single point. Expand, contract. Expand, contract. Expand, contract. Now notice what happens when I do this direction change. So I do rotate. Essentially, if I do constantly these Baikou steps, it results in sort of a rotation, and hence this kind of movements in Baikou where we do expanding and contraction all the way along in a never-ending mode. So the basic is expand and contract, and expand and contract. This is it. Now let's bring in some theory. So last couple of videos we've been looking at the backward central meridian, very nicely working in Aikido, and the front central meridian, also working nicely in many different arts. But neither of these two gives you the flexibility of a change. And when I say change, in the understanding like it goes in Baikou, change means rotation. So the art of changes essentially is the art of rotation. So if I do emphasize the backward step, I don't pretty much rotate. Like even in Aikido, it seems like I rotate, but essentially I'm not rotating. I'm just standing, and then I'm just standing the opposite direction. And then if I move, it seems like I do rotate, but it's just a single axis that, like, it's always like this. But physically it can be rotated, but it's not rotated internally, right? And in Baikou we have this inner rotation. So the axis itself gets rotated within. But how is that possible? So this is only possible if you don't have biases. Because if you are biased towards the backward central meridian, which is responsible for taking actions in life and in some techniques as well, or if you are biased to the front central meridian, which is responsible to sincerity, in this case you don't have pretty much techniques, but you can like naturally absorb the flow and naturally like interact with the outer world. Both are interfaces, but both interfaces gets you involved into the outer world, and you have no other choice but to follow those rules of the outer world that are defined within those biases towards the backward central meridian or the front central meridian. The action Dumai in Chinese, action meridian, and perception meridian, Zhenmai in Chinese. So if you have a bias towards any of these, in this case you are linear in its nature, in your nature, and essentially by all means this is like being social. And to me, being social is the biggest evil, because being social means comfortable, and I'm looking for freedom, and you cannot be free and with the comfort at the same time. So either freedom or comfort. And this is not just because I said that, that's because that's the inner nature of how chi flows within the human body. So when we're talking about the freedom comes when you live a very minimalist lifestyle externally, barely touching the outer world. That's the core principle of Bhagavad, is to barely touch the outer world. In this case, you're very tight, and your spirit can, having a support at this point, your spirit can rise, and this is how you're getting free. While the opposite way, spirit gets constant, and you just extend it towards the ground, have cars, houses, all this stuff. But this makes you very heavy, and in the dying day, this is quite hard to take it all away, because you're just not going to take this with yourself. So freedom is about working with something that you indeed can take with yourself when you're going to die. Working out this freedom-based principle is the matter of working out those things that we brought here before we were born, and that we would take away with ourselves when we die. Baikou loves to get a little bit closer to this. That's it from my side, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, and cheers.